bum bum da 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 bum bum da. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Roomies Digest. My name's Christine, and if you clicked on this video, you know that we're doing another book of the month reading vlog. The three books that I'm going to be reading are Imposter Syndrome by Kathy Wang, Everything He Told Me by Laura Davey, and Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So the first one that I'm going to be reading is Imposter Syndrome. It looks like this. And I actually wanted to show you guys what the book looks like because it's actually really pretty. This is actually so pretty. Who does she think she is? I just love that burgundy color and then like kind of like the cream color here. Anyway, this is May 2021 for book of the month. So that's when it came out. And yeah, we're gonna get started. I actually kind of have to read these books within a certain amount of time because I'm reading it for the Tarot Readathon, which we're participating in. So I have to read them for points, and I want to make sure that I don't let my team down. So this is probably gonna be a vlog, one of those vlogs where it all happens in one day. We'll see, guys. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, long story short, we're gonna get started. So to tell you a little bit about Imposter Syndrome, apparently it's like these two girls working at a startup tech company, and one of them has been recruited by Russian intelligence to, I guess, run programming on the like startup company's tech. That's what I think is happening. So I don't really know much more than that, but apparently it's an unreliable narrator potentially, and it's definitely like a little mystery. So we'll see what happens as we go along. But as you guys know, I will check in at the 50% mark, and I'll check in at the end, and we'll see where we go. I don't know what I would project this rating to be. Maybe like, I don't know, a 4? I'm gonna go with a 4. I don't know. I've never read Kathy Wang. I don't really know anything about the story, so I'm gonna go with a 4. Anyway, all right, let's get started. Okay, guys, so I'm halfway through Imposter Syndrome. We're having a good time. I think this is basically a character-based book. So the plot, there's not much happening in the plot unless in the second half of the book a ton of stuff happens in the plot, which could be it. But it's basically from the different perspectives of Julia, who is like the Russian spy, Alice, who is the Silicon Valley data analyst slash securities person at their tech company, and then the POV of Julia's handler, Leo. So it's just like a bunch of character. Like we're learning all about the characters, and I'm kind of wondering like where the plot is going, but not in like an annoyed way. It is slower. It's a slower read for sure, just because it's all like character, but it's interesting. Like it's very interesting. I'm interested to see where it goes because it could either go well or it could go badly. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've just kind of been like reading off and on. Right now it's looking like a 3.5, like a 3.5 depending on how it goes. It'll either be a 4 or a 3 star. So I'm gonna go meal prep because I need to make dinner. So I'm gonna go meal prep my little, interestingly enough, I got stuff to make Russian cabbage rolls. I did not do that on purpose, but I just realized that that's actually what I'm making tonight. Wow. The brain, subconscious is so crazy how we do these things to ourselves. Anyway, so I'm going to go meal prep and I'm going to listen to Iron Gold on audio because I usually listen to an audiobook when I'm meal prepping because it takes like a couple of hours. So I'm actually going to be listening to that, but then I will come back and start reading the rest of Imposter Syndrome. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, those are my thoughts so far. See you in a little bit.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond.
Okay, guys, so I just put my skincare on for the night, and also I just finished Imposter Syndrome. I felt like I needed to talk about how shiny my face was before we talked about the book, so that's where we're at. Okay, so Imposter Syndrome, I'm settling at a 3.5. Shocker. It was very character-based, like I said. The plot, it wasn't boring, but it was just like okay. Like it was like a little bit better than okay, which is why we're at a 3.5 for the plot, because I feel like it didn't go too deep, but it was like just interesting enough that like I kept going without like falling under that 3-star rating. It was also interesting because there were like a couple of crude moments. And I always find it interesting when that is kind of in the plot, but the plot itself doesn't go very deep, if that makes sense. I don't know how to really explain it other than like the plot is at like this one level right here, and then all of a sudden it like goes really crazy, and it's like, I don't know, it has really heavy sexual moments or like really heavy cussing moments or like really heavy graphic moments, and I'm just like, but like you weren't heavy with anything else, so why are we heavy with that? I don't know. So that's just kind of how I felt about it. I was a little bit more than meh. Like, meh, you know. It was interesting. Would I pick it up again? Probably not. Now that I'm finished with Imposter Syndrome, I am going to be starting Malibu Rising. Okay, everybody's been talking about this book and how amazing it is. This will be my first Taylor Jenkins read. I'm excited. I believe the premise is it all happens 24 hours. It's all like the kids, the same brother and sister like group, and they have like a party every year or something like that in Malibu because they're extremely rich and well off, and some stuff goes down at this party. I also think they're character crossovers from one of her other books, but I don't know which one it is, and I'm not sure if that's a spoiler. So I'm gonna start this book and I will check in at 50%. I'm anticipating, because people like love Evelyn Hugo, okay? They like love it. So like if Evelyn Hugo is a 5, I think Malibu Rising is between a 4 and a 4.5. Do I know which one? I don't know, but we'll see. I'll honestly probably check in tomorrow because I'm already really tired. And do I think I'm gonna get through 50% of Malibu Rising? Not unless it's like crazy good and I have to keep reading it. That's my prediction, or that's my star prediction for Malibu Rising and premise of the book. So I'll check in at 50%. Also, I forgot to mention this is a June 2021 book of the month release. How cute is this book? Like, book of the month really said, I'm gonna do that and make it look so cute. The last 2 books have just been the cutest colors. Anyway, so we're gonna read it looking cool, calm, and collected. All right, let's go. Okay, y'all, really harsh lighting, but we're officially 50% through Malibu Rising. How do we make this cute? I'm gonna move over here. Okay. That is a little bit better. Okay, so we're officially 50% through Malibu Rising, and I am loving this book. I'm devouring it. It's such an easy read because it's so interesting and fun. Basically, if you guys, you know, I know you guys kind of know what it's about, but it goes through 2 different timelines. So like the kids that it's about and then their parents and kind of like how they met and things like that. It's set, like starts out in the late 1950s and then goes from like that timeline to like the present day, which is like the 80s, and the kids are like in their 20s. So far the first half of the book has just been like explaining the characters, parent, kid, you know, how they grew up to be who they are. And literally halfway through the book, like at the halfway point, I think we're about to start getting more present chapters, like present day chapters, because it kind of has been back and forth, but with more information on the past, like more focus on the past. But now I think we're gonna focus on the present and kind of see like what happens at this party, because, you know, up until this point it's been building up to them actually like having the first party or whatever. So it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it because it's kind of like, it has the old Hollywood vibes, but like set in Malibu, because their dad is a singer. He's like a famous singer, or he was a famous singer. So it's very fun for me personally because I live in California, and I just think that it's cool to like hear about all the old, like how things were back in the old days. And also Taylor Jenkins Reid has a really great grasp on how people like talked back then. You can like hear how someone in the 50s slash like 60s would talk to their spouse, you know what I mean? Like there's definitely a specific way. So that's really interesting. And then I just love being in the present day timeline because I like want to know what's happening with the kids now. You know, who likes who, who's dating who, what's gonna happen at this party. We know that it's about to pick up and be crazy, but right now the pacing is super, super good. Like I'm like, ooh, it's already a 4.5. Is this gonna be a 5-star? Probably should have just said 5-star from the beginning, but I'm a crazy loony. I can't commit to these 5-star ratings right off the bat. So yeah, I've got to go take a COVID test, so I have to go do that because I'm working in the next day or so. I got to do a couple other work related things, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and hopefully finish this book today. I'm excited. It's super good so far. I know everybody says it's super good, but it's like very good. Chef's kiss. Okay, here we go. Y'all, Malibu Rising. I feel like I have a lot to unpack here. First of all, Nina. My girl Nina. I'm crying at that freaking speech at the end. Shout out to you. You're the real MVP. Like, you tell them who you are. Anyway, whew, wow, I'm like hot right now. I'm just like sweating. What's happening? Okay, what a rush. Malibu Rising was so good. I have a lot to unpack here. I'm like, is it a 4.5? Is it a 5? I think it's a 5. I think it's a 5-star. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Lots of tragic moments in this book, you know, because that's just how life is. Tragedy happens. Wow, what a freaking good book. Like, Taylor Jenkins Reid is just genius. So good. Okay, so I told you guys that it was old Hollywood / like 80s surfer vibe for the 2-time frame. The first half of the book, like I said, we're setting up the characters, we're setting up like the past, we're setting up all that stuff. The second half, basically everything that happens at the party, buck wild, really crazy. People have some really nice moments. There are like some random chapters that I'm like, we didn't really care about the one girl who goes to aerobics at 5:45 in the morning. Okay, like, who cares about that? Not relevant. But the ending, where everybody comes together. Okay, Nicole from Cup and Nicole said that this was the least favorite of hers from the 3 Taylor Jenkins Reid. So Malibu Rising, Daisy Jones, and Evelyn Hugo. She still said that they were all 5 stars. If this is the lowest rating, like the lowest of the 5 stars, it can only go up from here. So anyway, wow. I feel very good right now. I'm on a high. Like, I'm feeling cool, calm, and collected. Actually, I'm not feeling cool, calm, and collected at all. I'm feeling like very like jazzed. I'm like, wow, what a good book. What a good book. What a good book. Anyway, I think I need to immediately read Taylor Jenkins Reid's other book. I need to do the little backlist. I need to see what's going on. So yeah, okay. 4.5 to 5 stars. Check Goodreads at the end of the month so you can see my final. But I think the 5-star maybe. I'm gonna simmer on it. Simmer on it? I'm gonna simmer on it and we'll see how it goes. But that was a dang good book. Okay. Woo. I can't stop thinking about it. It's been literally 5 minutes. All right. Anyway, so next on the list, like my bookmark of Sherman with his coffee cup. Next on the list is The Last Thing He Told Me, which is a fast-paced thriller. So I'm like, can I zoom through that tomorrow? Let's see. We'll see where this vlog goes. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm really enjoying the book of the month books. It's a fun time. Okay, anyway, I think that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna move on. Obviously, I'm not gonna read tonight. I mean, that's not obvious, I guess, but gonna simmer on Malibu Rising and come back to the next book tomorrow. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Okay, y'all, I just wanted to take a look at this book, like, before I started it. First of all, 300 pages, but, like, I don't know what it is about this, like, gold color and the beige, but, like, I'm feeling this. Book of the month? Okay, you really just said, let me be cute. Anyway, this is May 2021. The Last Thing He Told Me, Laura Davy. Sorry. And from what I can tell, a husband disappears. He leaves a note for his wife and he says, take care of my stepdaughter, or wait, not my stepdaughter. Take care of my daughter who is your stepdaughter. And she tries to find him because she doesn't believe that he is gone. So that's where we're at. That's the thriller aspect that we're going for. That's the vibe. That's the only thing I know about this book. That, and then it looks incredibly sassy. Okay, guys, so we are 50% of the way through The Last Thing He Told Me. So far, it's more of a mystery than a thriller, but it is very fast-paced. Like, I'm not bored at all. It's very interesting, and I am loving that the family lives on a boathouse in Northern California. Just a fun little tidbit fact of this book, but yeah, pretty much the beginning of it, I would say at about 30%, that's when like you kind of know exactly what's going on, as in like what they need to do and what, you know, what they're gonna set out to do for the rest of the book. So like I said, I'm 50% now, and we're kind of getting into the thick of things, into the mystery aspects, and I can only imagine where this story is gonna go. It's pretty interesting, and I'm hoping that the end of it is just as fun, but I'm having a good time so far. Also, we love to see it in the light of day. She's a pretty baby. So I will check in at the end of this, and then we will continue on with our book of the month reading vlog. Okay, guys, so I'm officially at 100% of The Last Thing he told me. So I really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it a 4 stars. I thought it was really interesting. I thought the story was super original, and I think it would be such a good movie or TV show. Maybe not even TV show, probably like a movie. But the thing is, the dilemma that like they got into, I was like, oh, that was what it was. And then there wasn't much confrontation like, after we figured out what the mystery element like was. You know what I mean? Like I wanted like a little bit more from that because we spent so much time kind of like going into the family history, trying to figure out what the mystery was. And then once we got to it, we kind of didn't have much confrontation. But also I think this book, like the major themes of this book was like a found family aspect because it's the stepmom and the daughter. And so obviously they're not blood related. And at first, you know, the daughter's 16, so she doesn't like want a stepmom, like she's not very like happy about that, but then they have to learn how to work together to kind of like solve what's going on. So I thought that was interesting because that was a nice arc throughout the book. That relationship had a nice arc throughout the book. And then was that really like the point of the book? That's kind of what I have to think, because I'm like, I don't think the point was for them to have like drama over the thing that happened. I think the point was just to kind of tell the story and then be like, you know, here's the thing that happened from it. So yes, I think that's why it's a 4, because, you know, it was like a good story, original concept, like written really super well. Like I thought the pacing was super good, but then it's like the end, I was just kind of like, wah, wah, as far as like the drama in the end, but like the very, very end, I was okay with. Like it kind of sucked because I was like, dang, that's really how it's gonna go down. But like the epilogue, I kind of liked, and I was kind of like, ooh. It would be really interesting if this could like continue into another thing where they're like 10 years in the future and then this is what's happening now because of what happened in this book. Like I think that would be an interesting book, and I would be interested to see like where she took that, but I think this is a standalone. Like that's just me wishful thinking. Anyway, I don't think she's gonna take it there. So all of that to say, it was a fun mystery. I would not say that it's much of a thriller. It's like a mystery more so, circling around like the family's past and like what happened. But it's a really quick read. It's like 300 pages, I think. And yeah, it was fun. I finished it in time for the readathon. I know everybody's like on their toes about it, but yes, I finished it at 11:40 on the 24th. So now that's my last book for the readathon. I've had a really good book of the month reading month so far, so I'm pretty pleased with everything that I've read. But yeah, that should be the last one for this month. I'm going to go to sleep because I'm very tired. Had a full day today. I'm ready to take a snooze with that little baby boo over there. So I'll see you guys. Hello everybody. Okay, so we are in the final portion of this book of the month reading vlog. I'm just gonna go over quickly the ratings of each of these books and my recommendation for which ones you may want to read. So first things first, Imposter Syndrome by Kathy Wang. So I ended up settling on a 3 stars with this one. Because as you guys can see in the vlog footage, I was like, the storyline's okay. It's like a little bit better than okay, but like the storyline's okay. After like simmering on it, I was like, was the payoff as good as it should have been for like everything that we went through? So I'm settling on a 3, like it was okay. Middle of the road, okay. If you're into like a character driven, like espionage type book, it's like espionage light, if that's what you're into. And then the end, you know, I was rooting for the main character, our like Russian spy. Like I was rooting for her, but she was kind of a B word. Was the payoff even good for that? You know what I mean? 3 stars. Okay, next on the list was Malibu Rising. And you all saw from the clips, like Malibu Rising really blew my mind. Like what a fun historical fiction. And I know that people are like, oh, it's about this group of brothers and sisters who have a party every year, but it's about so much more than that. And I think you guys can tell from the clips. I ended up giving this a 4.5 stars. So it was just such a fun time. I love the old Hollywood aspects, like not like the 40s old Hollywood, but late 50s, early 60s old Hollywood. Like I loved all the characters, like every single character, even the boo-boo ones. I was like, yes, Taylor Jenkins Reid, you did that. The only reason it's not a 5 is because there were some chapters where I was like, what is the point of this? You know what I mean? Like we don't need that for the storyline that we're following. when authors like want to add in more to like give it the atmosphere, the ambiance, like I get that, but also sometimes we just don't need those extra chapters. Sometimes we just need what we need from the characters that we care about. But other than that, like this was a really good read, and I highly recommend if you like historical fiction. Like I said, it takes place in the late 50s, early 60s / the 80s, and it really is more, it's more than I think what people have talked about on BookTube and Book Talk. I know everyone's like, read it, you know, it's about this one night, this party one night, but the first half of the book is like a character study of the parents and the kids. That makes it sound more serious than it is, but it is such a good time. 4.5 stars, and highly recommend. The last book on this Book of the Month reading vlog was The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This was such a surprise because I wasn't really sure what to expect. Like I was thinking it was going to be more of a thriller, but this is actually just more of a mystery, I would say. It follows our main character who gets a note from her husband that says protect her at all costs, and he's talking about his daughter, which is her stepdaughter. So the whole time the stepdaughter and the mom are trying to figure out where the husband is. Up until we got to the like conflict, it was really, really good, I thought. But then once we got to the conflict, it's like nothing really came out of that. Like it just kind of happened, and then it wasn't addressed again, and I was like, would that really happen in real life? I don't know. So I ended up giving this a 4 stars because it was still really good, and the epilogue was like, I was like, okay, you may have made up for the lack of conflict in the epilogue. Because I was like, ooh, my skin is hot right now because it's like a whole nother thing. Anyway, not because it's spicy or anything, but just makes you think, you know? Anyway, so I had a good time with this one. Like I said, even though, you know, the payoff may not have been as good, I had a good time reading it. You know, was it a little bit guessable? Yes. So if you're like a professional mystery reader, I don't know if this will be the book for you, but if you're a novice like me, I think it's entertaining, and I can see why Reese's Book Club would pick this book. So those are the books that I read from Book of the Month this past month. We had a pretty good reading month. 2 out of the 3 were 4 stars and up. I think that's a pretty good reading month. If you guys like this video, give it a like for me. Comment down below if you've read any of these books or if you want to read any of these books. I would love to know what you guys are reading from Book of the Month. Any suggestions, because, you know, we do get Book of the Month. So if there's one that you were like, yes, it's a 5-star, get it immediately, let me know because I need to know the inside scoop. And yes, subscribe if you want to support me and Monique on this channel, and turn on that notification bell if you don't want to miss another video from us. And until our next video, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.